All right. Hey, everybody. I'm here with Andrei Novikov. Is that how you pronounce it? Novikov?
You got it.
Nailed it. With Texting Betty. And he has some super exciting stuff to share with us today. Essentially, an AI ISA texting system that he showed me last week, and I thought was one of the cooler things that I've seen. It'd been a while since me and Andre had caught up, so it was great to see that. Andre, tell me a little bit about what it is and how long you guys have been working on it. Give me the story.
Sounds good. So, Texting Betty has been around for a couple of years, and we specialize in automating text messaging within Follow Boss action plans. And that always worked great because you do want to have cadence for new leads that are coming into your system and making sure that, none of them fall off the table without, attempted contacts. But as you grow and as you get busier and as you get more leads, you need to spend more time trying to engage with those leads and then actually having conversations with them to see, are they ready now? Are they going to be ready in 6 months? Are they looking to buy? They're looking to sell. What is the situation? Are they pre-approved or are they looking for a rental, right? All of that takes time. Now, with the introduction of AI, conversations have been improving multiple folds, and it's easier for AI to understand what is actually happening. Now we're taking that technology and implementing that inside Texting Betty. So Texting Betty can now actually have a conversation to the point where a human, an agent or an ISA or whoever else on your team is actually required to perform a certain action. So now when you take your whole database, you're going to have hundreds and hundreds of these conversations happening simultaneously without you having to do anything, and you only get alarmed or brought in when there's actually something actionable to do. For example, setting up an appointment, setting up a search, calling the person, introducing them to a mortgage broker, whatever that might be, as defined by you, and then executed by this AI ISA.
Awesome, man. And so I think this is going to solve a lot of problems that a lot of teams didn't even know they had, which I think is what AI should be doing. So could you show us a little bit of how it works inside of Follow Boss? I know you had some stuff ready to kind of show us there.
Absolutely. What I'm going to show you is just an example of what the conversation would look like inside Follow Up Boss. And we'll know that Follow Up Boss works bottom up. So this is a new lead that comes in into Follow Boss. An action plan runs and it fires off this message asking, if the person is a real person that they signed up on the website. Person replies, and this is where the AI starts to take over. We get the reply, we say, okay, perfect. So this person, is looking on our website. They're looking for some properties. Let's collect more information. And this is where you can define. So our base model is actually using the LP Mama framework. So we'll collect all of those kind of criteria and try to qualify and make sure that this is a lead that's ready to go. And that's what it's going to base its interactions on. So it asks the person, what type of property they're looking for, you know, what's like what are the situational things that are happening. Not only it asks these questions, it will also follow up with the lead if it doesn't get an answer. So for example, here, the person didn't say anything. We follow up with another question, and it tries to get as much information as possible, obviously within acceptable limits, so that we don't annoy the person. But it does it so well because we're able to send. And puts down their phone and moves off to something else. And that's how we increase a lot of the engagement is because the person is still looking at their phone. They're able to kind of stay present in that conversation and kind of contribute more information to you. Once they put down the phone, they might not be willing to talk to you anymore. But if you do it fast enough, and that's where human ISA teams kind of fall apart, is that they just don't get back to these leads fast enough for them to have that continuous conversation and really get the answers. Now, the key is once the AI collects enough information and it determines that, hey, this is the time that we should probably bring in a human to do a specific task, that's where it's going to do a couple of things inside Follow Up Boss. So in this case, the AI asks, okay, what if there was a perfect property that hits the market in the next few months? Would you take a peek at this property, right? So the person says, sure. And AI determines that, okay, this is a perfect opportunity to bring in an agent and make the introduction. So we'll send a specific message that essentially notifies the client that that will happen. And then we summarize the conversation. So it will tell you what is the action that is required, and then a quick conversation summary as well. At this point, we also tag the lead with whichever tags that you want to monitor, but it's going to be human. Let me find where it is. I might have been tagged off, but it would say human needed. And that's how you know that someone has to jump in and actually perform a task that is outlined in here. So, as I said, all of these conversations are happening, and we're only pulling in humans when it's absolutely necessary that someone has put up their hand. They're looking to, get some sort of information that AI doesn't have right off the bat, or it has to be some sort of an action like, a search, a phone call, a showing that a human would need to perform.
That's awesome. And so bringing in the human, I think that's where a lot of the blueprinters, that's what we call our newsletter readers, is the blueprinters. I need to figure out a better name. But that's where a lot of these teams are going to have some questions about how this fits into their workflow. So I'm curious if there's anything outside of the purview of what this is doing to tag in the human. Is there any other automations that are possible to be built out on top of that?
Absolutely. So the way we're looking at this, it's not just a reply engine where it just sends up replies and has that communication. Texting Betty does two things. It evaluates each conversation, whether it actually needs a reply, and then once it figures out, okay, it does need a reply and it falls into a certain category, we also have actions defined on those. So for example, if someone says, wrong phone number, right? Something that no one has to actually do anything, but you do need to move them to a different stage. You need to maybe tag them. Maybe you need to run an action plan to send them an email, ask them for the right phone number. That doesn't add any immediate value. It might add it in the future, but it will take time for actual human to do. Texting Betty can do that automatically. So as soon as it determines that, hey, person said wrong phone number, we're not going to reply to them. We're going to tag it as wrong phone number. We're going to mark off number up here as bad. And then we can also run an action plan. The cool thing about our system is that everything is definable by you. So an agent can go in and say, when this happens, I want this to be the reply, and I want these actions to happen in my follow-up boss. And it will do that automatically every time it determines that that is the applicable case. We call them intents. So each conversation goes through several intents. Maybe it's collecting info. Maybe the person wants to have a phone call with an agent. Whatever that intent is, each intent has specific reply instructions and then also specific actions that are attached once we've determined that that's the intent of the conversation.
That's awesome. And you talked a little bit about customization of how this is going to work with automations. Is there customization for what the content being texted out is as well? Is it pretty flexible between buyers and sellers and renters and landlords and such?
Yeah, so that's actually really interesting because there's kind of two ways to set this up inside a Follow Boss account. So we can run different agents for different sources. So for example, a lead comes in from Flex, we can have them run with a specifically trained um, uh, agent that knows
Mm,
what that source is. You can then define, okay, for sellers with buyers, if you want kind of like a specific, instructions for those. If you work with rentals, then you can have a form sent to them, for example, to fill out to see if they qualify. If you don't work with renters, well, you can also say, hey, I'm not the one to do rentals, but let me introduce you to a person that does. And AI can actually do that, and you can, automatically send referrals to, someone either on your team or someone else that you work with that does handle those. You can also define if in the process of qualifying a lead, if they say, "Oh, I'm not, pre-qualified for a mortgage yet," you can also make that introduction to a mortgage broker and actually, move them to a different stage, and have that reflected in your follow-up boss. So um, each one of those steps is completely customizable because we'll have teams that do work with rentals, we'll have teams that don't work with rentals, and we're able to do that for both and have completely different outcomes or completely different conversations based on how the teams are set up and what kind of workflows or SOPs they actually have.
amazing. That's awesome, man. I think this is going to bring a lot of value to a lot of teams. I'm curious, what like from the people that have been in beta and using this, what type of time saving are they seeing? Or do you have those metrics kind of set up to show them?
Yeah, so we have this weekly recap report. So I'm just going to show and share what kind of information we're getting.
Yeah,
These
perfect.
are they'll depend on each team and how many leads you obviously get. But this is a pretty good indicator of what you can actually expect. So we estimated that for this particular clients, we saved 464 minutes per week, so half an hour went to automated opt-out. So when someone says, "Hey, stop texting me, take me off the list," no one needs to see those messages, especially some of the less savory ones. There's just no value in that, right? We handle them automatically. No one on your team ever has to look at a stop message ever again. And now you can just concentrate on the people that actually matter. 110 minutes on the automated follow-ups, and then 318 minutes of the actual day-to-day conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a lot of time saved. Just think about if you're just an individual agent. Um, with this kind of stats, you can't even go out and show homes. If you're running an ISA team, this frees up so much time for your team to actually be more productive and concentrate on building relationships with people that really want it, and have this system nurture them and highlight the leads that actually need to be conversed right now and not 6 months in the future.
Awesome. That's awesome, Andre. I think showing the value in these emails, that's going to bring a lot of people some joy to their lives, seeing like how successful it's been. I really appreciate you quantizing it like that. I think a lot more systems should do that, to be honest. Um, well, thanks for jumping on today. Is there any kind of closing statements you want to talk about, or anything else that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure that the blueprinters are aware of?
Yeah, you sent me a really nice kind of summary email, and there were some interesting things on there that I thought that we should really kind of talk about. So one of the things you ask, how does this fit with the standard operating procedures, the SOPs? Um, it actually does it really well because
Mm,
Texting Betty ISA AI is kind of like your ISA that never forgets the instructions, right? It's always on and doesn't take lunch and also doesn't mess up the instructions. So we can take the SOP and customize all these intents to reflect exactly how you want that workflow to go. And AI has become so good at figuring out what is station has and what should be the follow-up that it feels so natural for people that are actually engaging with it. Um, and we can define the information. We take the information directly from SOPs, put it into our system, and essentially teach it. In this case, we want this to happen. We want these tags to be added. We want this action plan to run. We want the reply to be exactly this. Great, we can put that all in, and it could also evolve with your SOPs. It's not that it's set in stone. It's not a black box. It's something that is available to our clients to be able to go in and adjust and fine tune. And that's part of it as well, because you're going to find that, oh, maybe in this case, we should, send
mm.
this information or, do this, and that's highly customizable and highly flexible. And it's only going to continue to be more customizable, flexible in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that so that page where they're able to customize it, is that something that the user will be able to do themselves, or is that kind of your team that's working on customizing the AI for them?
So the teams that are in the beta right now with us, we are adjusting those parameters manually for them. Once we go live, probably in a month's time, it's going to be open for the user to create those agents, modify any of the information in there, add new things, and really kind of define their business inside this agent. Um, we're trying to make it as transparent as easy as possible. So the actual creation of an agent will look similar to creating an action plan and kind of defining kind of steps and information that the agent has access to. But it will look kind of similar and feel similar to action plans.
Awesome. I love it, man. Well, if you guys want to learn more about this system, how can they get in touch with you, Andre? I'll throw it in the email so they got it.
Yeah, I'm going to provide a link to our sign up page for the wait list. As I said, we do have a very small beta run, but we're going to be opening that up to a broader audience. It works so well that we want to get it out as soon as possible. But we're aiming to launch fully in about a month's time. But if this is something that screams to you and you're like, I need to get on this, use the link to fill out the form, and we'll get in touch with you.
So awesome. Thanks, man. And if you guys want to learn how to implement this and other systems into your system as well, just reach out to us over at Bar Agency as well, and we can help put all this together and help implement cool tools like what Andre's built into your tech stack. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody.